Hi everyone, this is Karak from Angry Centaur Gaming, and today I'm bringing you the review for the new game on Steam, Monstrum. Monstrum tells a tale of a four-armed tentacled beast just trying to make it in the difficult world of lead guitar solo artists in the Christian music scene. But no, seriously, Monstrum tells the tale of a man trapped on a procedurally generated ship just trying to escape before the creatures that apparently killed everyone else realize he's woken up from his vodka-induced hangover. Because let's be honest, even monsters have morals, and they don't kill you unless you're up and putting in a fair fight or running for your goddamn life like a ninny. This game is brought to you by Team Junkfish and is available January 28th, 2015, so gird your loins, put on a pair of Depends adult garments, suppress your urge to scream like a fool, and let's do this. Up first, of course, is graphics. I have to say, on the PC with the settings on high, Monstrum looks amazing, even in the muted darkness that is its world. You're on a ship at night, so lighting's going to be mainly from things like flashlights, the occasional light, and glow sticks, the moon, and also sometimes the gaping, enormous, light-bearing maw of one of the creatures, but truth be told, if you're seeing that, you're most likely dead anyway. Texture works phenomenal, with the ship having a rusted, depleted, and almost falling apart look to it. Every texture has a good deal of thought put into it to paint a picture of a vessel that is both a safe harbor for monsters trying to leap inside your skin like a damn flesh suit, and also a dangerous environment that alerts monsters to your every movement and mistake. The creature design is fantastic, though limited to a very select number of creatures, and I'll cover the reason for that limit later in the review. Graphically, I did notice some frame rate drop, but this is an early access game, so you have to expect it, but you also have to expect some optimizations will come. Lighting is also excellent, with rebounding shadows, the green glow of your glow stick bouncing around the environment, and the occasional time you find a place that still has a working lighting system, because for some odd reason, before everyone else died, they thought it would be a really good idea to take out almost all of the lighting fuses and just huck them around the ship, because wouldn't that be funny? Overall, the design, lighting, and looks of the world are really good, and solidify the atmosphere as both moody and terrifying at the same time, and yes, those are actually two different feelings. Sound, music, and voice. Sound here is up first, and a game that hinges on stealth has to have its sound engine running like a well-oiled machine, otherwise the cues that the gamer needs will be lost in the shuffle or cramped into poor sound mixing that makes audio cues impossible. Monstrum seems to have found the right track, with sounds informing the gamer of what's going on, positional audio that is accurate enough to not only tell you that a crazy light-shooting monster is about to hug you to death, but also that that same monster is not only 50 feet in front of you, but is thundering down the hallway to your left. In fact, the sounds are simply amazing, with the crunch of steel, the echo of footsteps, and the aforementioned thunder-footed main creature all done spectacularly well. There are no extras here, and there isn't a ton of ambient sounds, but there are enough to keep you solidly in the environment and listening keenly to hear if you're about to be game over screened. I would say, as a package, overall, they're excellent. Music. Listen, this is ambient as possible, with only a couple tracks that play barely at all, but holy shit when they do. They're basic synth tracks with very little change-up, and instead sort of sit hauntingly right around your adrenal gland and your sphincter control muscle. They're a bit chilling, a bit haunting, and altogether perfect for this game. It's good to remember that in Monstrum you're humping around a deserted ship with only the other inhabitants on board wanting to dissect you for monster science. So having a 10-piece band playing haunting orchestra music would be all sorts of out of the place. Instead, you get a very select few tracks that somewhat pipe directly into your spinal fluid and reprogram your DNA to RUN. I loved it, though there isn't much. Voice. The voice is absent. None. I mean, you can't even gibber to yourself in fear. There's a heady, out-of-breath, oh shit, I'm gonna be monster rate breathing that you do hiding inside a 1/10 inch steel locker from a monster that looks like he's been doing reps with Triple H and The Rock, but other than that, nada. Nothing. And again, I think that the game and its atmosphere are actually finer for that. Gameplay, the big dog. Listen, it's pretty simple. You wake up and are informed by some randomly strewn papers on the floor that some shit went down. Monster shit, which in the scale of shit is probably the worst. You need to escape, but how? And finding out how can take a bit, so I don't want to ruin it, but it basically revolves around searching the ship for things to help bigger things take you away from the ship and from the scary things. I'm purposely not telling you what that is, because if I did, I would ruin a bit of the surprise. The ship is procedurally generated, which means it's different every game, and this game is a Shirley MacLaine resurrection ship like none other. You will die often and come back, and just like Shirley MacLaine, life will be different because the ship is procedurally generated to fuck with your mapping skills and basically just sort of point and laugh at you. Whether it's the pounding, light-faced hellbeast or one of the other few baddies, it will happen. The game isn't about facing off with these creatures, and in fact there are so few creatures that you begin to quickly realize that having a ton of them would be stupid, because just 3 will end your day on a bad note quite easily. So run and hide, and turn off all your flashlights and hope they don't tear into the locker just because crunchy outsides and soft insides are yummy to monsters. The game is fairly basic, with you grabbing items that are on the following scale of use: barely, not so much, sort of, and lastly just shit I need to get off the ship that replaces an inventory slot with a much needed barely usable item. That is the game, peeps. It's a horror game with survival cargo pants. You aren't going to be carrying a ton of anything, and quickly you have to decide if you want that stained coffee cup to possibly divert a monster's attention, or if you want the much needed bolt cutters that do shit for monsters but do excellent for bolt cutting. All through the game, notes and journal entries are strewn like the dead crew skipped and leaped around the ship, just throwing everything fa-la-la all around without a care, and as you grab each one, you piece together the shit panting or pant shitting things that occurred before everyone got monster digested. Now, the way the game is set up, it can be fairly long or fairly short depending on the way things are laid out in the ship, but I have to say, due to the way things are done and the ways to escape, I don't think many people would find a problem replaying it a couple times. The game isn't Dying Light, where you go on a ton of quests and it's filled with a ton of enemies to fight and people to talk to. It's empty aside from things that want to kill you and things that are barely of any use from stopping them. That is why I find its moments of terror so well done. Where other games like Craven Manor can get too overflowing with puzzles and bombastic moments, Monstrum is simply a what you see is what you get gameplay experience, and I loved it. Fun factor. Well, I like being scared, and it's rare, but Monstrum did it many times. The mixture of heady informational sounds, lack of useful creature-smashing weapons, and hide-and-pray gameplay are what I live for, and I was either smiling or yelling "oh shit" all the time. If you don't believe me, check out my quick look. So what does Monstrum do right? Atmosphere, it's great. Sound, graphics, and the monster gameplay, this is old school. You can't do shit against the bad guy gameplay, so run or fool them. That is perfect for me. What does Monstrum do wrong? Though I love procedurally generated levels, once or twice out of my gameplay, the ship's innards seemed a bit like I'd made them using Roller Coaster Tycoon's level editor, which means twisting, turning things with no bathroom in sight. But about 90% of the time, that was not the case. And that's about it. As you guys know, I rate games on a buy, wait for sale, rent, or just stand out in the open and let that fucking scary ass glow-in-the-dark-faced monster kill you rating scale. This is a solid buy. Rarely do I get really into and scared during gaming moments, but Monstrum was a joyride again and again. Even when I began to get, let's just say, a little bit numbed by one more corridor, the sound of something moving around through the pipes or the sound of what could be a monster planning on putting my skeleton up for display worked to bring me right back into the game. This is the type of gameplay I love for horror games. You're there, you do shit, and no extra stuff just to fill a fucking checkbox. So that's it for me. If you liked the video, hit like. If you disliked it, hit dislike. And always remember the one rule of horror games. If there's a light switch, there's most likely some dumb fucker who took the fuse away from it because that sounded fun to him at the time. Peace out.